Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Israel Brief with me, Rolene Marks, your host, proudly brought to you by the team at Lay of the Land. And I have it on good authority that this is the 451st Israel Brief. I think that deserves at least a slice of a cake. But we've done it 450 times. We have brought you those top stories from Israel and surrounds. And today is going to be no different. And we do it every Monday to Thursday on Facebook, on our Facebook page at Lottel Site. Join our community there by giving us a like or a follow. And also on our YouTube channel at the Israel Brief, and all you have to do is click on the red subscribe button. But before we head into the weekend in Israel, let's give you a look at those top stories, and we begin with the European Parliament, who are the first official body to pass a resolution expressing their concern over hate speech and incitement of violence that has been taught in Palestinian schools that have been run by UNRWA. That's the United Nations Relief Works Agency, and they are the custodians, or they have several schools in the Palestinian territories. And this follows the decision by the Biden administration to refund UNRWA, also demanding, according to American Congress, more transparency as to where the money goes. Now, the EU Parliament's vote was part of their annual budgetary procedure, and they too have called for more transparency where their funding goes. UNRWA has said that they operate with complete transparency, and they will now be enabled to form or to give official reports as to what they are teaching and where the money is going. Staying with reports, Israel has dismissed a report by Human Rights Watch. This is an NGO that alleges to be concerned with human rights abuses. The report accuses Israel of practicing apartheid by asserting Jewish Israeli dominion over the Palestinians. Now, the report was initially filed or started by Omar Shakir, who some say has a vendetta against Israel because his work visa was not renewed, and he was basically expelled from the country for promoting BDS. BDS, or the Boycott, Divestment and Sanctions movement, is a movement that is not seen as pro-peace or wants to broker any kind of negotiation towards a lasting peace between Israel and Palestinians. Rather, they seek to break all kinds of discourse by promoting more division and go as far as to questioning whether or not Israel has a right to exist as the nation state for Jewish people. Now, I've looked at the report, and in this report are some allegations that are truly hair-raising, including the assertion that Israelis are blonde. That's how they have chosen to express their opinion in their graphics. This negates the incredible diversity of the state of Israel. They have also given their own definition of apartheid, which does not acknowledge at all the suffering of black South Africans and South Africans of color under that brutal regime, a regime that I grew up bearing witness to. So this has very, very personal issues for me. And of course, they completely absolve the Palestinian Authority and Hamas of any persecution and any human rights abuses, not just to the people of Israel, as we know through the Hamas Charter, which calls for the annihilation of the state of Israel, but also against their own citizens by not allowing them the freedom of movement, by imposing gender restrictions on women, by not allowing the freedom of expression, by not allowing the freedom of criticism, by not allowing for the freedom of political choice through voting. We know what happens to any political rivals of Hamas. None of this is contained in that report. Instead, the report is an indictment against Israel for human rights abuses. The report has been dismissed by the Israeli government, as has it been dismissed by many in the international arena. And our final story is a lot more positive. Israeli NGO IsraAid has begun to dispatch much needed aid to COVID-stricken India. They have sent a large shipment of oxygen machines, other essentials that hospitals in India are running short of, and syringes which will hopefully be used for vaccines at a later stage. India is one of Israel's greatest allies, and it has been expressed by the Prime Minister and many in government. We will not allow our friend who is in need right now to go without those vital services. The images coming in from India are absolutely harrowing, reported up to 350,000 new cases per day. And if we can help, it is something that we in Israel are proud to do and are committed to doing. So before we head off into the Shabbat, I just want to wish our friends out there who are marking Lag BaOmer. We won't be having bonfires in Israel tonight because of the pandemic and also because of a heat wave. But Lag BaOmer, Sameach for all of you marking Lag BaOmer. For the rest of you who are looking for something to do, don't forget our website at www.layoftheland. We have an in-depth analysis from Dr. Guy Amar. He's a French retired surgeon. He has taken a look at the events leading up to the murder of Sarah Halimi and what has transpired soon. An excellent article. We've translated it from the original French. Go have a look. It's up on our site. It's also up on our Facebook page. Give us a like, a follow, share our content. Don't forget to check in with us tomorrow to see where in the country we are for Shabbat. There's that YouTube channel at the Israel Brief, also our Twitter page at Lay of the Land 5. And if you want to tweet us a shalom, a hello, or whatever language you want, we're happy for you to do that. So I want to wish you all a safe, a healthy, and a peaceful weekend. Shabbat shalom from all of us here. And we'll catch you on the other side of this weekend.